Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another live show with me, the one and only Stephen Holloran. Welcome back. Hey, cheers. Happy Friday, you. It's a really good show tonight. Really good show. I'm actually losing my virginity tonight, and it's all down to Luna. Say hello, Luna. Yeah, she's smiling, but she's not waving. There you go. So yeah, I just want to start the show before I go any further. So thanks very much for all the new subscribers that have popped on. You've done me proud. You've supported me, and I couldn't have asked for a better support network. I just suddenly started finding my feet on YouTube, and one of the things that I really like is the fact that you've really liked my interviews. Not just the live ones that I'm going to do now, but the pre-recorded ones that I'm doing with other actors. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm the bald one, and I will be guiding you through this mechanism of life that we've got on with Luna tonight. She's agreed through through a lot of persuasion to come on tonight. She thought I was weird when she met me. I'm sure she did. But anyway, thank you very much for your support, and as I've got to say, keep the comments coming, keep the likes coming, because I know when you like a video, I know which videos you like the most, and I know for a fact that you like the vegan camp out one. You also liked my interview ones with Deborah and Marie Maudsley, and an up and coming one, this guy here, George, that's coming on Sunday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Also subscribe, because we've got a lot of content coming. I'm tired. I'm not that tired because I'm doing so much, but I'm really enjoying it, and I want you to see what I've got, really. No one's on yet, so that's good. I haven't missed anyone, because the one problem I have is that I always miss the comments, so I'll flash them up as I'm talking to Luna. Keep your questions coming. Hopefully we're going to get a lot of vegans on tonight. I know this channel isn't particularly vegan orientated, because I've just not done anything about it yet. I've been a vegan for 5-6 months. I can't quite remember. I think it was February when Grumpy Vegan Grandad beat me to a pulp to change. But I'm doing very, very well. I'm still at it. I'm still going at it. And it's been the best decision I ever made. And it's good to chat to another vegan now who is just fantastic. Her YouTube channel is coming on from strength to strength as well. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you a slight clip before I introduce Luna on. It's her YouTube channel. So I hope you like this. Let me just get the screen ready. All professionalism here. Here we go. And did I share the audio there? Hang on a sec. Just seeing if I shared the audio. Where are we? Shall I do that again? I shall. Leave me alone. I'm tired. Yeah, there you go. Bear with me, Luna. This is me. Oh, okay. Here we go. And here you are. Are you there?
Hello, everybody. I am.
And here we are. Here she is, Luna Bloomer. Such a fantastic name.
Thank you so much.
Were you born with that name, or did you change it by default?
No, I changed it myself. I chose my name.
No, you said there was no sound then. Did that no sound come through then?
No, there was no sound on the little clip.
Oh, well, you have to make your own sound. And they did share the sound on there because I went back in and had a look, but never mind. I'll share the link to the video anyway in the stream. So, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Are you all right?
Well, apart from being tired, I'm raring to go. I've been looking forward to this interview because literally you saved my life. What's your friend's name again?
Oh, Andy.
Andy, yeah. I kept thinking of Leo. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Isn't like a Leo. Leo, hello. No, because literally, describe to the audience before let's get the negativity out of the way first. Describe to the audience what it was like being at that train station for that eternity.
Well, I didn't mind it that much personally. Like, it takes a lot to kind of annoy me. But Andy was not.
I can get.
We kind of like, so we travelled. I live in Folkestone, so does Andy. So we travelled for 7 hours on the bus to get to Nottingham.
Yeah.
And then we stayed for 2 days in Nottingham City. And then our train was like an hour and a half to Newark. And then when we got there, we then discovered that we had to walk to the next train station, which was like a 20-minute walk. Which was like, it was a little bit annoying, but it was okay because me and Andy are used to walking a lot. But at the train station, we met a straggler called Shannon. She was by herself. And
the lady you were with.
Yes. So
okay.
she came by herself, like, and she's newly vegan. And so we were like, oh, you can come along with us, like, you know, you can sure you can join us. And we were going to get a taxi, but there weren't any because obviously they'd all been booked. So then we were like, so we were like, we were going to walk anyway. So you're welcome to join us. Bless her heart, she reluctantly did. Like, and it was a really struggle for her because she had a lot of stuff. But we made it. And then we got there, not knowing like where the bus was supposed to be because we didn't see any signs. So we asked some people, where are we supposed to stand? Where's the bus coming? Like the shuttle bus that goes straight to the camp out. And they were like, oh, we think it's just here, like right in the front of the station. And we were waiting outside for about or so, I think, maybe more. And then I saw a shuttle bus turn up. I was like, oh, that looks like it might be it. I bet that's it. Like, but it was kind of like far away. So I went over to ask, and they were like, you need to get to the back of the queue. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I thought we are at the back of the queue. They were like, no, you've got to go on the station platform. And so we walked down to the station platform, and lo and behold, there was like so many people standing there.
That was a devastating, devastating moment because me and my son Jake had got off. We did everything right all the way down, like you, all the way down. Fine. Got to the train station. Walked outside where we assumed it'd pull up. There's plenty of area for it to pull up, and then suddenly we're at the back of the queue. Even though we turned up, to get there for 2, and that wait on the platform with no end in sight, it was just. I mean, I did listen a bit to your conversation while I was there. I had nothing else to do. You were talking about food and stuff like that, and it piqued me interest a little bit. But when you've got a kid, you're just worried that he's gonna just collapse. Yeah, he's gonna call an ambulance.
He did so well, bless his heart.
Oh, bless his heart. I mean, he did struggle a little bit, but he tended. I think he was looking at me more and going, "Daddy, you're struggling. I'm not. I'm fine. It'll be all right, Daddy. It'll be over soon." And literally, he was my little rock for the whole trip. And obviously, what made you decide to walk in the end? Because I know that I was getting anxious to leave, but I just didn't want to walk, but we had to.
We were there for in that queue for about 2.5 hours, I think. And Andy was getting annoyed, so he went on his phone and looked at the vegan camp out group, and someone had made an announcement in there saying there's no shuttle buses, so we're going to send a big bus at 5:00. And I think it was 3:30 at this point.
It was, I remember.
Yeah, and we were like, oh, I'm not. He didn't want to wait. I didn't mind waiting, but my worry was I didn't want to miss any of the speakers, and I knew if we were going to do that, then we were going to miss the speaker, and also perhaps have to put our tent up in the dark, and I didn't want to do that. So we were like, right, let's just walk, because actually we were originally going to walk anyway. But then we found out there was going to be a shuttle bus, and because we had so much, well, we didn't have that much stuff, but it was awkward to carry. Well, not mine. I had a suitcase, but
yeah,
best decision ever. But Andy had like, this round. He had this like round tent that was just really awkward to carry.
You're like some sort of Robin Hood, didn't he?
And so yeah, we were like, let's just walk. You know, we can walk. We've walked loads, so we just walk.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I tend to walk miles, but on this occasion, I factored in the minibus as a plan. And when it got to a point where I was like, I can't wait any longer. I've got to move, because my feet were seizing up just sitting there. You know, and every time we got the chair up, we had to take it down again. And then literally, I think I heard the 5 o'clock fact. Hello, do you know this guy, by the way?
Who is it? I can't see anybody.
Gary Reeves. He's a fellow vegan. Hello.
Hello, fellow vegan. Welcome.
Yeah, fellow vegan. Welcome to our abyss. But basically, I heard the fact it was 5 and went, right, I'm walking, and suddenly we just connected, didn't we? Like, with the spaghetti, like, and we were like walking, going, so what are you in for? And this is terrible, this, isn't it? Oh my God, how much further? I thought we were Jesus, you know what I mean? Just carrying this cross, like, and literally getting there. I mean, describe the relief of getting there. How did it feel for you just to finally kiss the ground?
It was amazing, and I was so proud of myself as well, because I bought my tent 2 years ago because I was going to go last year, and I have not practiced putting it up, and I haven't put up a tent since I was like 17, I think.
Okay, so why didn't you put it up? Why didn't you try?
Be bothered. I just thought it was just going to be a waste. I was like, someone will help me. It's fine, like, because I know the people at Vegan Camp Out are like awesome. So I was like, if I get stuck,
you stayed in the lonely section.
No, we didn't actually.
Where did you stay?
So when we walked through the gates, we literally just went for the first spot we could see, which was right next to the main stage. And I didn't realise, and I'm quite sensitive to sound.
Oh my!
So I was like, oh fuck! Like, we just made the most terrible decision ever. But it wasn't that bad in the end, because
the thing is, though, it doesn't matter where you were in that park. We were at the family section on the other side of the bloody park, and we could still hear it all the bloody bloody night long. Put your hands in the air.
It's nice to meet you too, Gary. I think I just kind of I just ended up staying up until the music was over, because.
So what was that then? What time was that? 2 in the morning? 3 in the morning? My God, you must have been knackered on the Saturday morning. Just the travel in wiped me out.
You know what? I wasn't. I don't know how, but I wasn't. I was totally fine.
You metahuman, you. You must be like fucking Superman. You know, I was like floppy all night on Friday night. I was like, oh fuck yeah. And what I was like, I got out though. I got out and met people, but by the time we got our tent up, had something to eat. We had. Did you have the pizza?
I had a bite of one of the pizzas that Andy had bought.
A bite?
Yeah, because we kind of we got there and we kind of didn't really spend very much time together after that. We just kind of kept separating and then coming back together. Yeah. So I would buy stuff and then we'd meet, and then he'd try a bit of mine and then I'd try a bit of his. So we had different things, so we could eat more without spending more.
Oh, what did you think of the prices? Funny enough,
some of them were okay, but some of them were extortionate. I bought a burger in the morning from the VFC I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
I've heard good things about that. I never got to try it. What did you think?
So Andy bought the chicken bites, and
Yeah.
they were like the most amazing things ever.
Mm.
And I went to go and queue to get them specifically, but because it was the morning, they were like, "We're not serving them yet. We're only serving this burger." And I'm not a big fan of chicken burgers, but I was like, "Do you
Yeah.
know what? Screw it! Like that was amazing, so this will be amazing too." And they put it looked quite awesome because they put the burger and then they put hash brown on it and then they put baked beans on it, which is I think it's pretty genius to be fair. But I wasn't that impressed with it, and it cost
Yeah.
me like 10 quid. So I wasn't very happy
Oh,
about that. Yeah.
I got there with so little money because I don't know if you know the story, but Jake wasn't supposed to be coming with me. It was just me on my own, and
Yeah.
literally the week before he said, "I want to come, Daddy. I want to try." I was like, "What?"
Yeah. I remember you saying.
And I'm like, "You can't do this to me." So literally, we had to sort of condense everything so he could fit in. But I wanted him to get down there and experience what I know the vegan community to be.
Yeah.
Because like yourself, there was so many decent people there, and feeling that energy from the place it was such a buzz to be there. I just wish that the first half, the first day hadn't have mucked
Yeah.
up so much because I was so tired. I couldn't function much
Yeah.
until midday on the Saturday, really. And by the time you're functioning, you're going home.
Yeah, I know. It's very quick. Like I remember the first time I went, I didn't actually speak to that many people. I went with a family the first time and we just kind of stayed with each other and didn't really reach out. So I actually made a pact to myself to make sure that I actually make more of an effort to meet people. And I totally reached it and beyond. So it was like well worth it. But I think that's what I like because I'm an empath. So I feel everyone's energy. So I think that's why I had energy on the first day because I met all these awesome people. And I was just so excited because everybody was buzzing. And I hung out in the lonely section a lot.
I think that's where I got the idea from. I think I've seen a couple of pictures or some sort of, maybe it's on your vlog where you're hanging out with people in a lonely area, but I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah. So while we were queuing up, we met this guy called Marcus behind us, and he was like the coolest person ever. And when we got in, we were like, "Oh, see you later. We'll probably won't see you again. It was really nice to meet you." And then a couple of hours later, Andy was like, "Oh, look who I've just found." So that's how we ended up in the lonely section because he was in the lonely section, like camping in there. And then so we on the first night after I only watched one talk in the end, I think, and then after that I went on the first day.
I was going to say I thought you should react to more than that.
No, I watched more than that, but on the first day, I only watched one, I think, and then after that I went and met everyone in the lonely section. And then we were just sitting in this little circle. There was about 5 of us to start with. And one by one, all night, people would just come. And some of them would literally just come and sit down and just join the circle. And some of them would be like, "Can we sit here?" And it was just honestly, that was my favourite thing for the whole weekend. The fact that people just felt so comfortable and welcomed that they could just sit down and just start talking to people. It was just amazing. That's not something that you experience every day.
And as an empath, like you say, as an empath, feeling that love from everyone you meet, it must have been. Was it overwhelming?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
So it's like you're feeding off it.
Yeah. It was just really uplifting, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. I mean, I was really drained afterwards.
Oh, you carried on, didn't you? You went off traveling.
Yeah.
Straight after, you travel minx you.
But we were both exhausted afterwards. The last couple of days, we were both a bit sassy to each other, and and I haven't seen Andy since the camp out because but I'm gonna meet him next week. So
so you're gonna recoup. You're gonna regroup and then go back and then give yourself a bit of a hug. And what are you gonna do next week when you meet him? Are you gonna go to the pub?
No, we're just gonna go for a walk. So Andy's my nature buddy. So we used to because he used to have a car. We used to go in his car and select a random place to just go visit and explore, in Kent. and then just drive there and then go explore like forests and stuff, or like the little villages. But because he doesn't have a car anymore, we don't get to do that. So we just kind of like pick
but you're like, get a fucking car.
Yeah.
I wish that was me. I
wish I could do that. Why? But yeah, it's really good fun. Like, if you've got a car, like just go to like some random place.
Hold that thought a minute. Look what I got. Provisional driving license.
Yay!
I'm learning to drive.
Yay!
I'm no more travel on. I'm learning to drive, and I'm going to the camp out next year in my own car.
Wicked.
And that's what I'm going to do. Because you just described the stuff that I missed out on, which was
really?
Getting round to people, mingling, taking your time, and it was no one's fault, but I felt disconnected because of that first experience. And then when I did try and involve, I felt like I was out the loop because I was supposed to be joining a group of people who I'm friends with, but I didn't know where the F they were. It took us a while to find them. And then when you look at the picture, I've actually got, I don't know if you've seen the picture, hang on a sec. So it is the vegan camp out. So that's the family section here in the front, next to the car park. There's where my friends were.
Yeah. And
this is where we were.
What are the odds?
But in the cold light in the night time, you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere in time and space. They could be anywhere. And you literally, we didn't bump into them until like dead of night when they were hanging around, the like place. And we were dancing for a little bit. Then I lost energy and collapsed. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I felt like it. But you know what? The whole experience for me was brilliant. And since then, we've seen the pictures of how tidy we all were, how energetic we all were when we were getting together, and the inspirational we had together. And I got to see Russell Brand as well. He's someone I admire as well for his talks and stuff and his comical style. So overall, would you recommend the vegan camp out to
100%.
anyone?
Yeah,
not even just vegans.
You don't even have to be vegan to go. Like, and if you're the kind of person that's a bit scared by all the activism kind of stuff, because a lot of it, like part of the main attraction is the talks where they talk about what goes on behind the scenes and all this horrible stuff. Then like you don't even have to go to them. You can just completely block that out for the whole weekend and just hang out with people and eat awesome food.
It's about the people.
It is. It really is about the people. Like for me, when I first went, I'd just become vegan.
Oh really? So you how fresh were you when you first went? How new to it?
Months.
So same as me then.
Yeah. So and then when I went, I spent most of the time just watching all the talks. And by the time I'd left, I was like, right, I've got to do more. I need to be an activist now. So actually, vegan camp out is the thing that inspired me to do what I do now. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, and you're doing it well as well. You're doing it well. You're doing it with a lot of energy and a lot of spirit. A good, positive vibe comes from your YouTube channel. And talk about your YouTube channel. Give it a bit of a plug.
So I started it at the beginning of the year, and basically most of it is interviewing vegans because I kept meeting people in person, and like I really love hearing about people's stories. And I thought this would be a really fun way to kind of get people more like involved in and to understand what it's like to be a vegan. And obviously because there's not that many vegans in the world, I thought it'd be a nice way to try and help vegans to connect around the world. So and I didn't know of anything like that, so I was like, right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start interviewing random vegans. And I'm quite fortunate where I live, and I actually know quite a lot of vegans. There's quite a lot of vegans where I live.
Is there a vegan village? Is it like that is big?
It's very vegan friendly. Like we have like pretty much every single restaurant in this town will have options for vegans. Like, and we have a couple of like completely vegan restaurants here as well.
You lucky duck.
Yeah, we are. Like we're so lucky. But it's just funny because like it all kind of happened as I became vegan. So it's just like really in a like the world is like coming to alignment with my journey almost.
Believe me, I believe in that. I believe in the universe having the plan. It motivates people. It moves people into places where they wouldn't normally be, so that the door opens and you walk in. It's very, very symbolic. It's like when I turned vegan, it came at a time where I was going through a personal crisis in my head. And I noticed one of your interviews was a mental health nurse, is it? Someone who does, not a nurse. Yeah, is it that? What's his name? Pow Wow Mao, or that was his username, wasn't it? That's the one thing that stuck out to me.
His name is Joe.
Yeah, and it made me laugh, and I thought, what a guy. But it stuck out to me because I remember feeling that veganism came at the right moment, at the right time, because it was something that was building up in me for so long. I just didn't recognize it. Do you relate to that?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've been vegetarian since I was 11, and I didn't have any support at all growing up, which is why I suppose it's a big part of as to why I ended up doing what I do, because it's really important to me. For like, community is a really massive thing for me. Like it's really close to my heart to be a part of community. So I wanted to create that space so that people, like me, when they first, go into the plunge or start looking into it, I wanted there to be a space for people to feel supported when they don't have it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing to say, because I know people just assume vegans are literally the like the Extinction Rebellion lot, and to me, all I've ever seen since changing to veganism is this love, this empathy, this come with us, we will show you a good path, and it's all based on love, isn't it? It never feels like they're talking down to me. I mean, there's been an odd few, but I've seen it from the other side. The meat. As soon as I said I'm making this change, everyone changed overnight towards me, and it felt so isolating. It felt like they were saying to me, "Oh, you've been, manipulated. You've been changed. You're not the same person we knew." And I felt isolated for the first time with mainstream people who I always grew up with. And is that something you felt when because I know you've been vegetarian, but vegetarians tend to have a better pass in society, don't they?
Well, at the time, I can say actually no, I didn't. Like I was bullied by people because I was vegetarian, and I felt really isolated for a long time.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And I, I had to kind of like, even in my family, I had to kind of fend for myself because they just didn't get it. And it's something that always boggled me, because the reason why I think I am vegan is actually largely influenced by my mum. So I grew up in a household with loads of animals, and my mum would rescue animals and like bring in wild animals that had hurt themselves and things like that. So my mum had so much compassion for animals, but yet she was eating meat.
I was going to say that. I mean, why was she? I mean, obviously she's not made the connection, has she?
No. Yeah. But she has finally now, because we watched Dominion together. And she still eats fish, but I think that eventually I do think she will go full vegan. Like I went shopping with her last week, and she was telling me about how she's trying to get off milk more. And I had to challenge her a little bit, because she picked up some brioche buns, and she's decided she really likes brioche buns. And right next to them was a vegan version. And I was like, Mum, these are vegan ones right next to this. Like, why are you not buying them? You just told me that you want to give up dairy. And she was like,
it's all the programming, isn't it? The older you are, the worse it is. Obviously, I'm only 36. I can't remember, but I don't even keep count anymore. But literally, the hardest part is the routine of what you buy, rather than, because people always say to me, "Oh, do you get the ethics of it?" Oh, that was straight away, dead easy, simple ethics. But the problem is, how do you incorporate that into your life when all my family are meat eaters? Apart from my mum. My mum's always been vegan, but she never had the support growing up. it's a bit like
Oh,
you.
yeah.
She was the only vegan, and she grew up in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, where there was no such thing as.
Mum rocks.
And she,
Shout
but the
out to
thing,
your mum.
I've been trying to get her on just to get the story of this, because I think they should erect a statue to my mum.
Yeah.
Because she was the original vegan before vegan
Send her
was a
my
vegan.
way. We'll have an interview, me and your mum.
Oh, she'd love you. She'd love you, honestly. For helping Jake too with his suitcase. She loves you to bits.
Oh.
So hello, mum, if you're watching. I don't know if she is watching. She hasn't been on yet. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, let's go on to your business now, because you've just launched a business, haven't you?
Yes, I have on Monday.
See, all the topical stuff.
I know.
So tell us about that. Tell us about your business.
So my business is called Authentic Bloomers. I'm a family wellness coach and mentor, which basically means that I help parents and guardians like kind of get over dysfunctional patterns that they've learned through their childhood, so that they can then be a better role model for their children, and they help their children get emotional intelligence and be themselves more, basically. So
Wow, okay.
it's something I've been very passionate about. Like I've been very passionate about psychology, like pretty much all my life. Probably because of my own background, because I didn't have the greatest upbringing. But yeah, so I kind of like, I found life coaches myself a few years ago when I lived in America. I moved to America for like 3 years, not 3 years, for like a year and a half.
Where was that? Where did you move?
So I lived in 3 states. So first I lived in Minnesota,
Wow.
and then I moved to Texas, and then I spent my
Right.
last couple months in New Jersey. So I was an au pair out there. So I was basically, I got to be a parent for like a year and a half, like without all the responsibility of all the money and that.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah, it was amazing, like totally life changing. But there I kind of like, it's like, yeah, I was introduced to like trying to really find myself, like me moving away to another country, like it just changed my life so much.
What age were you? Sorry, what age were you again when you first moved?
So I was 26, I think, or 27.
Oh, okay, so you were quite mature enough to do the trip, but then it's that isolation in another country, and I guess in Texas was a bit tough as well, because Texas is pretty. What would you describe what Texas is like? What's it like with vegans?
It was all right, actually. Like in the supermarkets, America's very, from what I experience, America's very vegan friendly. And actually, being in America is partly like one of the biggest things that inspired me to go vegan, because I always kind of felt like I should be vegan, but because I didn't have the support, I was too scared to. And also I was penalised once by a vegan when I was really young, and it kind of put me off vegans. So, but funnily enough, that one person is literally the only vegan I've ever met in my whole life that's not been very kind. So yeah, it's been.
I can't stress how important it is to as vegans to paint it the right way, because that first impression of a vegan talk or a vegan way of doing things is so impressionable to people who might be curious, and they don't want to go oh no, because it's half the time it's the way the media presents vegans as these like people, and it's not like that at all. It's only when you make the change you see it. But it's important, like we're doing now. We're normal, aren't we?
Yeah. Well,
we're still
normal as can be.
I mean, yeah, I do stick my head in weird places, but that's my own life. I've got to live my life the way I see fit,
Exactly.
But I've never felt so loved in my life when it comes to being in the vegan territory. Well, I've got some great friends who helped me through tons of stuff. And you said, was it yesterday or today? You said about you should post more in the forums and the groups, and I always feel like I'm imposing.
No. That's what they want you to think. That's what people want you to think.
I just want to share this. Fuck off. That's how I felt anyway. But
you will always get like that's the thing about when you're so different from the world, I guess. Like you're always going to get the kind of people that will just be threatened. You could be the nicest person in the world to them, but because it doesn't align with what they're doing, they then get really defensive and then they can be aggressive. So yeah, because
funny enough, I mean, I've never been the one to play up to stuff like when it comes to like, I've never been a typical bloke. I've never liked football. I've never done. I love science fiction. I love science fiction. I liked acting, drama, and everyone else didn't. And I was bullied for that, as you were bullied for your stuff. And this is why I can't understand why I didn't make the connection with veganism sooner. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I didn't make it.
Because we're conditioned. We don't live in a vegan world. All of this advertising is telling you, you need milk to be strong. You need milk to be manly. And it tricks you, And I didn't start properly questioning it myself until I lived in Texas, because I was one of these people. Even as a vegetarian, there was parts of me that was quite vegan, because I wouldn't have things like leather and like things like that, like skin. I was really
I get that.
And also I was really funny with like where I bought my things from, and if I knew that a company was testing on animals, I wouldn't touch it, like even if it was like my favorite thing in the world. So there was elements of me that's kind of like, that knew veganism was the right way. But when I got older, I kind of like was more exposed to more things, I guess.
Knowledge is power, isn't it?
Yeah. So I used to eat I only used to ever eat free range eggs, right? And when I lived in Texas, the parent that I lived with, she challenged me on it and was like, "You do realise that actually these are not what you think they are." And I didn't believe her, because automatically you don't want to think, oh, that I'm taking part in something that's not okay. But I did the research, and she was right. And there was only there was a certain price tag for eggs of a standard that to me felt okay, but they were really, really expensive. So yeah, that was like my first thing when I started to question, actually, we're being lied to. And then over time, for me, it was like my health. I started to really notice that whenever I'd have like a lot of dairy, I'd feel really lethargic. I'm
getting that now.
Yeah, I cut it out. And then when I went traveling around America, a friend of mine who was actually pescatarian introduced me to so many vegan restaurants, and I fell in love with the food. And that's what made me think, do you know what? Okay, I can take this next step. And then when I moved back home to England, I then started meeting vegans. And my friend Andy, me and Andy grew up together. We met when we were like 13, and I became vegetarian, and then he became vegetarian after me. But this time around, he became vegan first. And because he became vegan, I was like, oh my gosh, I've actually got people in my life that are going to understand. So it pushed me that step further. And I made a friend from a shop, a wellbeing shop. So she did like wellbeing courses and things, and she had a little shop where she sold like crystals and stuff like that. And she was vegan, and she was doing a Veganuary workshop. So I was like, right, well, I'm being called to this, so I'm gonna just go, and I'm gonna finally make the step, because I started small. I did the whole like I'm gonna be vegan once a week thing, and then within like a couple of months, I was like, no, I need to be vegan. So I made a jump and then never looked back.
I did not have the luxury of that because of Grumpy Vegan Grandad and his way of. I don't know if you've seen his channel at all, Grumpy Vegan Grandad.
No, I haven't checked it out yet.
There's a video of me on it as a meat eater. I was an actor. I was in a film with him. He spoke to me about, because I was a meat eater and I knew he was a vegan. I was like, oh no, I have to act alongside. And literally, we got talking, and literally his way of presenting the argument based on milk was what swayed me. I was like, you know what? That's common sense. Why didn't I think of this? And literally, I said to him, look, let's talk more about this over YouTube. Let's do a YouTube show. And we did it. And literally, by the end of it, I was in tears. I was crying. I was crying because he was showing me some videos and he was saying, well, do you think this is right? And I could not defend it. It was like a wall crumbling, like the Berlin Wall, crumbling down. And I realised what I took part in, and it really hurt. And literally, it was like that instant then. And from then on, all I've done is try and find better ways of eating and living. And it's been the best thing to happen in my life, really. And I just wish I'd listened to my mum years ago.
Yeah. But we don't do anything until we're ready.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, there's people now who are probably watching this going, I'm not fucking, I can eat meat. But eventually it does happen. You have this brain spasm because something doesn't fit. And it's like I've never liked carcasses, like Christmas turkeys or fish when they're lying like that on the ice. I hate anything resembling bodies and I don't know why I never made that connection between because I couldn't see it. Maybe you can't see it, so it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm really pleased that I've managed to go from February to now without drinking any milk anymore, no eggs, no cheese, nothing. And it was the best guy. Oh, who's this? Ah, yeah, just something's popped up. John.
Hi, John.
Is this someone? Is this one of yours?
I don't know this person.
Oh, you know what? I do this all the time. Hello, if I know you, sorry about that. It's just I've had a few of them. But anyway, so what were we talking about? We're talking about the progression. I mean, how are you feeling right now with the world? How are you feeling in yourself? Are you happy at the moment? Is things going right?
Oh yeah, So for me at the moment, like mentally, I'm amazing. I love being vegan like so much, and it's made me I've always been a pretty compassionate person, but it's made me way more of a compassionate person, and I can understand people more. I have a lot more patience for people, where I didn't before. I can look at somebody that eats meat, for example, and I don't tend to feel angry, because I know that it's not their fault.
Yeah, I mean, I've never felt that myself yet. I mean, my friend came up to mine, and my son was, cooking like a meat product or something, and the debate happened then, and about whether because she believes you shouldn't buy stuff for them if they like. Say, my son came up to me and went, "I want a chocolate bar."
Yeah.
Or Vanessa, my wife, hi Vanessa, said to me, have some milk. Can I buy? Can you go shop and buy some milk? I'm not allowed to. I should put my foot down and say, no, you're going to have this alternative instead. And it turned me around. I was like, I hadn't even considered that. Do you know what I mean? Am I thick? I mean, what do you think about that? You must do it anyway.
Do what?
Basically, if I said to you, if I was a meat eater, or can I have that Cadbury Dairy milk, and asked you to go to the shop to buy it, would you buy it?
No, 100% not. So
because
my house is a vegan friendly zone, and it's sometimes I admit I do question whether that it'll be okay for me to let people have dairy in my house, because sometimes the responses I get, people are a bit taken aback by the fact that I'm like, no, you can't have this in my house. But I think that's just me like trying to people please. So I try and stand by like, this is my house, and I'm really uncomfortable around. So I've lived with a lot of people before I moved here, and I had a lot of conflict with the people I live with because they were buying products that I didn't agree with. And although I could separate my food, like for me, the meat wasn't the issue. It was more so like the cleaning products. The people I lived with, they needed to be okay with like using cleaning products that were vegan friendly, because like I didn't want to contaminate my food and the things that I'm using. Like, you know,
I
the
see where
meat
you're
I could
going.
keep separate, but the cleaning products I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I had a few conflicts of like of quite a lot of people because of
That's the
that.
hard part, isn't it? It's the give and take. My debate with someone was where's the line between public choice and, because I said, should it be mandated in the future?
Yeah.
Because I do believe that's where it's going anyway. I do believe that, you know, veganism or whatever you like, it's going to be meat free world going forward.
Mm,
I think it has to
I
be.
agree.
But where does the line fall? Do you dictate to people that, oh no, there's extra tax on that meat to encourage people, or do you let them continue and maybe educate the younger generation?
I think it's different for everybody.
Mm,
I mean, like I saw a post a little while ago that was going on about like we should make them pay more tax for meat. And
yeah,
although I do agree with that, I think they should, because to be honest, a lot of people that I have spoken to, that like one of the factors that puts them off from eating plant-based food is that it's so expensive. Like the fake meat alternatives, they're expensive
depends how
because
you buy it. Because the one
yeah,
thing that I found is that maybe there's someone called Mr. Atlanta. He's another vegan who I follow, who I love, and basically he sees food as ingredients that you put together, so that you're not buying any processed vegan
mm,
stuff. You're making it. And I
yeah.
noticed that you're on your YouTube channel. You did an omelette. Um, where was it now? It was somewhere on your YouTube channel. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I think I remember talking about it.
Yeah, because there was an omelette and it looks so nice.
Yeah,
And I've got a couple of vegan friends who've helped me make a egg mayo sandwich without the egg. Do you know what I mean? Or what? It's something like that anyway. And literally, those ideas blew my mind, because it means that I know how to do these things and make it taste just as good, but with the ethics intact,
yeah.
and my diet really well. And John, I just wanted to say, yeah, I like that you say that. I mean, obviously, me and Luna are vegans, and we'd like you to be vegan too. But I'm the kind of person that's sort of like in Splitsville when it comes to how far I go in the activism. I'm still fresh to this. What advice can you give me, Luna, on how far to go really when it
I
comes to
mean,
activism?
I think it's all dependent on you. I mean, everyone's got their own style, and
Yeah,
I think there are times, because I've started to be a bit more, I guess, brave with my activism, and I will challenge people online. Um, and but I didn't do that before. Like I personally I have a very soft approach, because I'm I know that people are not going to budge unless they want to budge. So
yeah. It
I'm
has to.
not going to
The
sit.
wall has to come down, doesn't it?
I'm not going to sit and have an argument with somebody that's not actually like ready to hear it. But
Mm.
people that ask me questions, then absolutely I will answer your questions.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that. That's good.
you know, but sometimes I will. You know, people will say these things like John here saying, "Sorry, I like my meat." Well, I like meat too, actually. Like it tastes pretty good, but I don't like where it comes from.
Exactly,
So
exactly. But the thing is, the argument gets lost on because of the activism side sometimes. Because sometimes we could be our own worst enemy when it comes to how we talk to people. And I think
yeah,
you and me have got a good approach, because I'm trying to promote from this point on. I'll be promoting veganism, and I want people to see how loving people like you are, and me. And we're not like, we're coming after you. We're
yeah,
not dictating anything. I'm trying to, I want to show what we know, which is
yeah,
all these people who came to camp out the other week. All these ideas are all loving ideas that need to be
yeah,
embraced. But I don't want to go, you're killing these fucking chickens, and because that's not me. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I like to
Same.
show a nice side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing like you did. I'm trying to show how I prepare food, because I'm not very good at cooking. I'm rubbish, but I'm going to learn, and I'm going to put the results online for you all to laugh at.
It's fun actually as well, because the reason I started putting food online is actually because to keep myself accountable, because I've
Yeah.
for a long time been trying to go whole food. Like I really want to go the next level to show people actually how amazing it is to have a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
And my diet, like I lived off all the processed stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's been a really long journey for me to try and, get to that, just having plant-based food. I mean, my goal is to be like 90% whole food. I'm still nowhere near it, but I'm still going to keep trying. So my way of doing that to keep myself accountable is to show my food, because if I like, it's almost like a trick in my brain. It's like, well, people are like, they know this is what I'm doing now, so they can like challenge me on it if I'm not. So
It's a good example that, because I remember the person who I say converted but showed me the way. He recommended to me that I should announce online, which I felt a bit awkward about. I was like, it's
yeah,
no one's business, but I ended up doing it anyway. And what that did was it made people think that I was doing it for publicity or some sort of gain. And I kept saying to him, "This is not right. I'd rather lead by example."
yeah.
Show that I'm like, when they bump into me in the street. All right, Steve, are you still vegan? Yeah. Oh, by the way, look what I've got in my bag. It's a num num num. And like, I made that up. There is a vegan chocolate called something like that. I'm sure there is, but it's
No.
not it. Yeah. And literally like this Heineken, totally vegan. Do you know what I mean? It's all these little touches that you do to show your example, show your resolve that you've done this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, it's so much easier to do. There's like, I'm so thankful for the internet. Like I just can't tell
Me
you,
too. Me too.
It, I learn new things all the time. And, even though I've always been very passionate about the ethics of animals,
Yeah.
I sometimes have needed that like extra step. Like when I first went vegan, it was quite easy for me to transition actually, and I was surprised because like I loved eggs. Like I ate a lot of
Oh,
eggs.
I didn't like eggs, to be fair. It
Oh
wasn't.
really?
Bleh.
I used to eat
Love
them all the
hate.
time, especially because I'd gone off cheese. Cheese was my thing at the start, but yeah, after I was like, I'm not really into cheese anymore. Eggs became my new thing. Thanks, Gary. And then I can't remember what I was saying now.
Well, you were talking about how ethical you were, how easy it was to get into this mindset of, because veganism is not just about the ethics; it's about the practicalities of doing it. And
Yeah,
you were already mostly there, weren't you? You didn't need
yeah,
persuading, you didn't need
no,
technicalities because you were vegetarian.
yeah. And then so I found it easier because there were things that I could just replace. And when I was vegetarian, I cooked a lot more than I do now. I've gotten into being a really lazy cook, like as a vegan, because I just eat like shit like frozen potatoes with like a meat sub and a bit of veg. Like,
Oh, you know what? I'm doing exactly that now. Because
so easy to do.
those frozen potatoes, because they're easy to throw them on, and then you
Yep,
can put them with any vegan alternative,
yep.
whatever, and it's simple, but it's not learning the process of putting
No,
things together, which is where I'm going wrong at the moment.
yeah.
So that's funny that.
So yeah, I'm like kind of going backwards because I'm like trying to think, what did I cook when I was vegetarian? Because when I was vegetarian, I cooked quite well. Like eventually, once I learned how to cook, and then so I'm having to kind of think back to what I actually ate when I was vegetarian, and like how
Mm.
can I veganize that without using the meat subs? Because to be honest, a lot of meat subs, like the thought of it kind of grosses me out now. I'm at that point that
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
it
I didn't
reminds
get
me
it.
too much
Yeah,
of
there's
actual
certain
meat.
ones. I can't have because it's just not. It's not palpable. You can't put it in your mouth without. It's like when you go in the fridge aisle in Lidl or whatever, and you can see all the meats.
Yeah.
all in the fridge, and that doesn't look right to me anymore. It was like when
No.
you see the adverts, like, oh, sexy, with meat and that. Ugh. It's weird. It's weird to me now because that switch is gone.
Yeah.
So any sort of meat alternative is sort of a problem now. Although the sausages, the Richmond sausages,
Yeah.
the vegan ones, they are brilliant.
Really good. They're really good,
Oh
aren't
my god! I only found them the other day on the off chance because I hadn't had them yet, and literally, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we are. Oh, look at this. John said this.
Oh, that's amazing, John.
Well done. I mean,
Yeah, well done. I appreciate that a lot.
yeah. Because again, my mum, right, even though she was vegan the whole life, I think we all grew up in a different generation where it was like, no, you as an individual, you've got the right to choose what you want to do. My mum's said to me, no, I'm not gonna force anyone to do what I want to do. That's how she was. But there's a couple of vegans who have met since who've like, oh no, she should have said, if she had the ethics, she should have told you to be vegan from an early age. I'm like, well, the infrastructure wasn't there, was it? Really, for veganism for all that time. She struggled, my mum, for decades with that. Here we are: chickpeas for salads, butter beans, kidney beans for pies.
I love a pie. Pies are my weakness.
You wouldn't think they would, because you've been vegetarian for such a long time. You wouldn't think pie would be on your radar, really.
I love pastry like so much, like everything pastry. Like, but yeah, I lived like when my last job I had, I worked in a kindergarten, and I very often would have like these little mini vegan sausage rolls from Sainsbury's, and I absolutely loved them. But actually, finally, I've gone off them. I'm not really into sausage rolls anymore. Which
is that because
really
you ate the whole packet? You're like,
I think it's just because like I have this thing that I will like when I find something I really like, I'll just divulge myself in it.
Gary's just said tofu.
Yeah, I love tofu.
This is what I use for the egg mayo thing.
Tempeh is amazing as well.
I don't think I've tried that yet.
I have a recipe for ginger glazed tempeh, and it is like amazing. And I fed it to my friend yesterday, who's a meat eater, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so freaking good!" And I was like, "Yeah,
it is. It is." And you think what I found is that the vegan range fills you up quicker. It's not even just a vegan range of processed foods. It's the foods that we put together. It fills you up even with smaller portion sizes, and it's amazing the difference with your gut. The feeling in your gut when you're not eating meat products, it doesn't feel like after like a Sunday roast when you have like feeling. Yeah, I don't have that anymore. It's an incredible thing. Linda McCartney range, certain range that she does, especially with the vegan. What was it now? It was vegan sausages, but there was also some vegan burgers with substitute cheese in them. If I remember right,
mozzarella ones.
Yeah, I think it was, but I can't quite remember because you have to watch with Linda McCartney because sometimes you pick up the wrong one.
Those ones are not vegan. I used to eat them a lot when I was vegetarian.
I made that mistake. I went, look at this vegan thing I got, and he's like, no, it's not. I'm sorry, we're going to have to wrap it up now. Can you believe that?
Oh, it's gone so quick.
I know. We're going to have to do a part 2 now. What we can do, because obviously I want to do a vegan orientated video once a month, at least once a month, mixed in with the cooking ones I do. You're like, hi, I'm going to learn how to cook this today. Stuff like that.
Amazing.
Imagine me doing that. But why is the house on fire, Daddy? Shut up. But I mean, so tell people the links to your Facebook, YouTube, and your new business. So
Facebook, you can find me Luna Bloomer, and I've got a vegan group on Facebook as well, which is called Vegan Bloomers, and it's for anybody. I put stuff in there all the time, like new products I found, places that I've visited, all sorts of things in there. So yeah, definitely come and join if you're watching. And then my business is called the Facebook Business. Again, you can find that on Facebook. I do have a website, however, it's in the process of being changed with my domain name. So I will give that to and I also have a free community group linked to which you can find on Facebook as well. So,
Okay,
yeah,
I hope. I don't know if anyone could. I don't know if it's my side, but I couldn't hear some of that. So let me know in the comments if you could hear that, because my side cut out. So I just want to make sure that everyone got those links, because it did show on my side that the connection was a bit dodgy. I don't know why, because it's connected by cable. Look at this whirly
internet does
signals.
through weird things, doesn't it?
I'm paying for good service here, guys. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it was a bit broken. Do you want to repeat what you just said? Did some of the links towards the end there.
Right. Okay, so my group on Facebook for the vegans and people that are interested in veganism is Vegan Bloomers. My business is called Authentic Bloomers. And we have a side group on Facebook, which is called Hopeful Bloomers, which is a free community. I do like lives and put recommendations for like powerful books and films and all sorts of random stuff in there. And then, yeah, my business, the domain name is in the process of being changed. So when it's actually transitioned, I'll give it to Steve, and then he can put the actual one in the thing.
I might edit it in this bit. Yeah,
it's a bit long-winded at the moment, so.
Well, thanks for letting us know. But
You're
honestly,
welcome.
It's been a pleasure. I want to say thank you so much for not only just coming on tonight, but also for being you, for being fantastic, for helping me cross the Sahara Desert with a fucking cross, and just for being fantastic and amazing. And I hope everyone's enjoyed the conversation today, and we will have more.
Yeah,
and thank you for taking my V today.
Thank you so much. You're
and
also
everyone,
awesome. And thanks everyone for watching.
And I will appear on your channel at some point, I hope, because
yes.
I want to have the lunar experience.
Yes.
Sounds like the moon. So the lunar experience. But thank you guys, and take care. Have a great night, whatever you're doing tonight. Everyone, have a great night, and you, Luna, you take care of yourself.
You too. Bye, everyone. Much love.
Bye. Stick around as well. Hang on a minute. Bye, everyone.